Hello and welcome to Our Waking Dream. I am your host, Coco Swanson, and I'm really glad you're here. How are you doing? This week on Our Waking Dream, I'm going to be talking about Pluto because Pluto is stationing direct on October 13th. So the first question I enter in with is really, how are you doing when a big outer planet is stationing either direct or retrograde? There's a subterranean. Pluto works with the subterranean realms, the tectonic plates, that which is moving within all of us, that's subconscious. And if Pluto is stationing direct, it means there might be a little bit of discontent or a lot, depending on how it's hit your chart, as it's moved retrograde since May. So again, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm fascinated by esoteric arts and how the esoteric arts actually are playing out in our internal and external environments all the time. So with astrology, we can use it as a map, and that map points to places that if we focus on, that will gain a lot of wisdom or insight, will heal, will transform, will actualize our potential in greater ways, which is my passion, is how I can help us actualize our potential in ways that are allowing us to regenerate and to quantum leap into an era in which we are co-creating. And we are in alignment, in ayni, in right relation with our soul, each other's, and the soul of the earth. And when Pluto is stationing direct, that's the sort of conversation we have. Like especially, it's in Aquarius. Pluto just entered Aquarius, and then May 4th, it turned retrograde. Pluto moves very, very slowly. So it'll be in Aquarius for decades, 2 decades. So this said, what we've been doing when it enters a sign, when anything enters a sign, a planet enters a zodiac sign, it takes a minute to get used to the sign. It will bring up the shadow, the wounds in that sign, especially with Pluto. Because Pluto, the planet, whatever it illuminates, whatever sign it's in, shining its little Pluto dark light, it excavates the skeletons of the closet in that sign at an individual, me, you, and collective, us, humanity level. So Pluto, it brings about a reckoning. It's kind of like a wrecking ball, really, destroying anything that is actually wounded and does not pass the test of time. And we have it in Aquarius. So Aquarius is, if I like to think of Aquarius as the part of my mind that's connected really high into higher levels of thinking, of seeing, of governing principles, of ethics. So it's if I'm in a really attuned, wise place, my thought process about how the world should work and how principles that we're embodying as a species and a family or a culture, how they're working and how they're not. So this is it's a big week to really look at. We're in the window already when Pluto stations direct, because it's on the 13th. Today's the 12th, October 12th, 2025. So it's a time that if this transit has hit your chart, and what that means is the current cosmology is always affecting yours, and it's a geometry game. So if Pluto is hitting your chart in any way, like a conjunction, that's when when Pluto's conjunct one of your natal positions of your planets or the sun or your moon or any points on your zodiac, when Pluto touches it, it's obvious. Like, it's obvious if we're going through a Pluto transit because there's some sort of reckoning that's huge in your life right now. And it could be at a personal level, or you could really be focused and like Pluto can bring things that we kind of obsess on because they're so ready to transform. So what in your life, maybe Pluto has not been hitting your chart and you're like, what's up, Cokes? I don't actually know what you're talking about. Then just look externally and see at a collective level as a species. Think of our governance. Are we going through a time where we're seeing very clearly that there are some governing systems that are not for the good of all? That's an Aquarius. Aquarius is we the people, for the people. How can we create systems that support all of us? So if Pluto has not been hitting you and you're not having some huge reckoning in some area of your life, we are empowered to change anything we're a part of. So I can affect the governance of how the world is governed. I can affect any system that I'm within, which I like. I mean, that's a key part that I think of a lot in life is if I'm exposing someone to information, they then have the jurisdiction to have opinions and to have feelings. Feelings are really powerful. Have thoughts about it. It's if we're a part of something, have the power to change it. Pluto, stationing direct on the 13th. It's about looking at what sort of reckoning, like what sort of ouchiness, what sort of big trials have you been going through really since May? When something as big as Pluto or as powerful as Pluto, because of its placement to the Earth, there's a lot of magnetic pull as we move around. It really brings up the shadow. And another shadow of Aquarius, it could be around belonging to the greater, the collective. It's around ethics. It's around clearing out old belief systems. Since May, some transits I talk about are like, hey, this is a full moon. It's happening right now. This is a Pluto transit. It's been moving over this point in the zodiac of Aquarius for, we're talking like a year and a half. I don't have the exact dates. That I would send you. I feel I take the pulse on the themes. And then Pluto takes a long time to transition through each zodiac. So this is something that we look at over time. So really, what since May has been up for you? And that's practice number one. Practice number one each week here usually has to do with observation, because if we're not observing, we don't know how it's affecting us. Yet building the internal witness, that involves clearing out the algorithm that's external and coming into your internal, natural, biological rhythms. So that involves shutting off the scroll, getting the devices away for a minute and really looking, or like many minutes really, and really examining what have you been going through? So what have you experienced that feels like it's in line with what I'm talking about? Either at a personal level, or say that you're really affected by what's going on over in Gaza, or what I'm here in the US, and what the governing principles that ideologies like around how we treat marginalized people within this country. To me, it's archaic. And so that is the richness. There's all these places because I am in the US, I have the power to create change within it through my heart and my imagination, my rituals, my writing, and how I vote and where I donate money, right? Those are just as important. But here we talk about how inner creates outer change. So that's just number one, is what governing principles, what ethics that you're a part of that either are working at a personal level, a familial level, it could be in your little family system, a culture level, and the collective of all of us humans. What ethics or governing principles, how we're treating each other, systems of thought of how we operate are not passing the test of time in your life right now. And I suggest a couple practices after you observe what feels janky, really, what does not feel right. And practice number two that I suggest after observing is primarily writing a love letter to that and those principles that are dying. It's a love letter to the dying. I find that if I embrace and love something, there's more likelihood it'll change. Reminds me of training my little dog. If I'm kind and give her so much love, she's more likely to change her behavior than if I was abusive doggy mommy, which I'm not an abusive doggy mommy. So it's how can I love what's broken and dying? So an example would be like, dear government leaders, I am honoring all of the corrupt, archaic ways in which you're governing. I'm honoring what feels so gross and outdated to me. I'm honoring this because it exists. And through this honoring, I release this. This is no longer welcome in my governing systems, in my leadership, in my world. It's a language shift. So it's not like a sorcery thing where I am changing you by going in and manipulating your field. I'm saying in this 0 point in my world, I put my foot down and I honor all that's ready to die. I will not, on my dime, watch how we're treating people, how we're starving people, there's just so many. I could list 30 examples of ways in which we're treating each other that are archaic and corrupt. We could name many more. And if I witness something, I can help change it. Yet I suggest the love letter, because what if releasing through love is the only answer? What if embracing something as is and loving something as is, even if it's super, super gross, is the way that we can release it. And once we release it in here, then I can imagine, I can activate and become a tool of transformation. And that helps whatever systems I'm a part of. Practice number 3 is altar to altar. So altar, ALTAR, I make an altar. It's a non-religious altar. I'm super spiritual. I'm not religious, but my practices could fit within a lot of different traditions, religious traditions. So this altar I suggest to make outside. What that looks like in action is you making a little spot in your backyard or a park or a beach. You breathe, you go in. So much change can happen when we turn these devices off and we go in instead. Because my awareness, so I bring awareness, I'll sit outside, I'll find a special spot. Special just means I like it. Then I gather things. It can be things like I gather leaves that are falling or little stones, things that are just laying around outside. And then I arrange them and rearrange them in my space, imagining and sensing and feeling that I'm actually rearranging the governing principles of this government or of my family or of yours, of not I'm not doing it sorcery. Again, this is important, is that we're not changing you. I'm not going in and changing you. I am changing the systems. I am taking ownership of the systems I'm a part of. And that's what I imagine and sense and feel. And I invite, through intention, I invite the love and the intelligence of the water, of the air and the wind that moves through my breath, and of the rich soil and the mycelia, that electric network of communication that's going throughout the whole earth. I invite our highest, most gorgeous outcome that could come out of some of the messes we're in right now. I breathe, and I breathe and offer my prayer, my imagination, my wishes. I also offer my ick, because we want to move the ick out of our bodies and move it into some place that it has more power. Really, it's energy in motion, emotion. When I move it out of my form, I give it back to the earth. The earth does little dancey dance and starts to change, to regenerate those gross old systems that we're a part of. It can be family systems, like conflict resolution styles. We move into the altar. We alter to alter it. We change through the exhale and the release back into the source that I'm holding in that moment is a little stone. I release through my breath, through my imagination, and then I leave it to come. The earth, she regenerates. We need help regenerating. So why not give all of the problems that are heavy on my heart and that have been heavy for the last months? Why not give those back to this gorgeous planet that I am, that we are, who is miraculous at regeneration? So as Pluto stations direct on October 13th, keep an eye out for anything within you since May that's felt really janky and like ethics that are questionable within your life, within shadows over there. And it's a mirrored reality. And so if I come across something that's over there, it usually means that that's something that's needing healing within me. So that's convenient. I write a love letter to the patterns in my life and in the world that need to die. The governing patterns of how we treat each other. It's ethics. And then I alter to alter. I bring it into my breath, outside, and let it stew in the cosmos. Mix with the soil, enlighten through the water and the moon. So that's it. I'm really curious how you're doing. Sometimes I forget to say, if you're watching this and haven't subscribed, this is something I'm doing just out of my pocket. It's a free show for you. And so that's how you can help us grow. I'm bringing on a team soon, so you'll see more here in this little world of Coco Swanson. I'm here to support you. So please subscribe or review wherever you're listening to this. And I appreciate you. I'm thankful for you, and I'm sending you all the love. Mwah. Thank you for being a part of our community here at Our Waking Dream. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Fill my cup and let it overflow. Let it overflow with love.